yeah, so the sample of the day, or the decant of the day, my review basically, is Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle. The perfumer is Dominique Ropion. I'm pretty sure I've reviewed this before. That's my cat. What's she doing? Sweetie's being a bit of a pain, aren't you, darling? Right, so I'm pretty sure I have reviewed this one before, but it was a long time ago and I thought I'd give you a refreshed version. So I've worn Portrait of a Lady today, and that is from my decant. That was kindly given to me by Kevin off of one of the Fragcom groups. So thank you, Kevin. I believe this to be vintage batch. I don't know what the difference is between batches, but apparently it's vintage batch. And it starts off, so I've just refreshed over here just to remind myself how it starts off. It is very in your face when you first spray it. It's dry and spicy, peppery. It smells like incense, but you can also smell roses and black currants as well, which kind of gives it a sweetness. It's very dry. There's savoury aspects with that and a little bit of smokiness, but then the sweetness from black currant and roses, which is really interesting. It is really quite loud, and I feel like there might even be a citrus element in there at the opening, maybe a touch of lemon or something, just giving a sharp lift. Really interesting, super loud. What have I written? I've got notes. Dry woodsy incense is the main player, tempered by the sweetness of the rose and the black currant, and some smokiness. It's about an hour in, I start to pick up a little bit of vanilla, not a lot, and I wouldn't call this a vanilla fragrance, but I do spot some vanilla, just a little bit, about an hour in. This is a far dry down, so this is the end of the working day. And I've got a kind of sweet, vanillic, woodsy rose scent left. Now, my bottle that I had before this decant, I don't know whether it was old or new formulation, but I did seem to get better performance from it. Now, that's not to say that this isn't good performance. This is absolutely fine. The one I had before that, though, a bottle I sadly sold, was beast mode, absolutely ridiculous performance. This is more of an average EDP performance. Anyway, back to the review. I haven't had to write a lot, even though the fragrance smells really complex. It's actually quite simple to explain. So you start to get the vanilla along with the black currant and the rose, and the sort of dry woodsy incensey feel. I noticed that a touch of cumin came into play. I don't know if cumin is actually in the notes, but I could smell a tiny touch of a very dry herbal cumin coming through way after the hour mark. It wasn't a sweaty, wet cumin like it can come across a bit BO-like. It wasn't like that. It was very herbal, very dry, but it definitely smelled like cumin as opposed to any other spice. And basically, as you wear it, the vanilla seems to gain in momentum, whilst the dry, woodsy incensiness just slowly starts to take a back seat. And then in the end, as I say, you are left with this soft, vanillic, woodsy, rosy, fruity concoction. It sounds really simple, and it is very simple to explain what I'm smelling, but when you actually smell it, I think it's a very complex and very interesting, excellent fragrance. It is one of the best fragrances that I've ever smelled. Now that's saying something, because I've smelled quite a lot, and I love a lot of fragrances, but Portrait of a Lady is a modern classic in my opinion. It really is something special. I felt like someone special wearing it today, and you know, I do wear a lot of very expensive fragrances, but it's rare that a fragrance makes me feel actually special, and that is what Portrait of a Lady does. There is something really amazing about it, and if you haven't tried it, you should. If you don't like rose, then there's a chance you might not like it. If you don't like incense and sort of woodsy, smoky fragrances, dry fragrances, then you won't like it. But if that kind of thing is up your street, then it is a must try. You have to put it on your list and you have to try it. It's a special occasion fragrance, I think. Not something I would normally wear to work, because it really does stand out and it really is different, and I feel like it's very special, and it's quite expensive as well, so you may want to save it for special occasions, really. But anyway, that is it. That's my thoughts on Portrait of a Lady. Just to add, the longevity is good and the projection is good. Your first 2 to 3 hours, it is almost beast mode. It is really strong, and then it just gets closer and closer. I actually prefer the performance of this decan than my previous bottle that I had, which was fierce. It was crazy, and it was quite hard to wear it because it was so out there. It was so strong that it didn't feel appropriate for a lot of occasions, whereas this, which has the lighter performance, is much more versatile, I think. That's it, I'm done. Thank you for watching.